What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp. Welcome to Fightful. It is August 14th, 2024. We are, I can't remember how many days, 11 days away from AEW All-In. I'll be here on YouTube for a live post-show review, as will Alex Pawlowski over behind the FightfulSelect.com paywall.
Yep.
We are just going to plug that $5 a month, $54 a year as we go through tonight, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that we've reported that is coming to fruition, so to speak. But leave a thumbs up. Do the roll call, guys. Let us know you're present. Drop a fruit emoji, all that good stuff. Alex, how you doing?
Good. I was peek behind the curtain. Sean has set up so many broadcasts for while he's gone that I was trying to figure out which one I was supposed to be in. And so now I'm here and I'm ready to do it. So let's do it.
We're ready to rock. If you all don't mind, head over to my Twitter. I've got a pinned tweet for this show. Go ahead and retweet that. It helps us out an awful lot. I dropped those over in our Fightful Select exclusive Discord. I will be over there on the Select exclusive Discord on the day of All-In, dropping some spoilers as well that you guys can avoid by, hiding the little shadow text, that nice little option there. I'm going to experiment with putting them there because I don't trust aggregators. Because I posted a disclaimer that says, hey, aggregators, engagement farmers, don't spoil it for people. And I know that some people will be like, well, then don't report it. Oh, it's my job. Sorry, it's what I do. Deeply ashamed of myself, but that's how I make money. But we're going to put it on Discord for some people to enjoy as well. That should be a lot of fun. AEW All-In. We got some afternoon wrestling coming up over the next few weeks.
Good stuff.
But if you're here, leave a super chat, leave a humper chat. I did the What's Up You Guys podcast today. That way you guys could send in super chats, humper chats. If you want more questions than just that, I'm answering questions in the Discord. I do a Q&A on Select every single week. By God, let's go ahead, get into AEW Dynamite. And really some of the things that we're talking about, including the tease of huge announcements. Which
plural
announcements. Yes. So one of the things I had reported recently was a possible Dallas stadium show at Globe Life Field Stadium, which is where the Rangers play. I would imagine that that's possibly one of them, and by far would be their biggest American show ever.
By far. Yeah.
This is off the heels of them really struggling to sell tickets for AEW Arthur Ashe, which I will be at next month. But this is a little bit different. If they do a standalone show, stadium show in the U.S., and it's not immediately after All In and All Out, I get the feeling that it'll do much better. How do you feel about that, Alex?
I think that the Grand Slam, the novelty of it, that the novelty of the first show when Grand Slam at Arthur Ashe Stadium, a huge venue that they hadn't done before. They were selling it on Omega versus Danielson, like it was a thing. Now Grand Slam, it feels like a really important Dynamite. It doesn't feel like what it did 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So I think that if you actually tried to sell like a major event, a pay-per-view to a bigger crowd in the States, it might go better. And I wonder really how much of the fact that they're going international with All In London is helping that, because that group is starved for this kind of show. So we'll see how the ticket sales go if they are indeed to do a stadium show in America.
There are numerous things about the presentation of AEW that I would change if I had my way. I wouldn't necessarily go the WWE route of like 5 or 6 matches, but it's worked very well for WWE because now they can stack.
Yeah.
They can stack SmackDown and Raw with big title matches. With AEW, it feels like when matches are put on TV, far too often they are foregone conclusions. Like, I love Mercedes versus Shida. I love Okada versus Claudio. I'm glad they finally did Acclaimed versus Young Bucks, but those all seemed like foregone conclusions. And I think that could be a big step in them doing great TV viewership. And I really, really hope for that reason that AEW lands an all-encompassing deal with WBD. That way they will maybe be more incentivized to deliver on Dynamite some more unpredictable matches as opposed to, well, let's put 12 of them on a pay-per-view type of thing.
Right.
Listen, I don't need them to be 6, but 8 is completely fine.
8 is good. 8's good.
It's completely fine. Get in your super chats. Get in your humper chats. Matthew Hooks of Hooked In Voiceover says, if they could do a talent one show per week, then everyone would have stories and get used without long breaks. Great stories right now. Small tweaks. Yeah, and I mean, there are some people like, to me, when you've got a guy like Miro who was healthy for so long and wasn't used, well, then he comes back and all of a sudden he's not healthy.
Right.
It's like, use him if you got him type of thing, unless they need a break. Unless it's like the Hangman Page thing where he had planned time off. And I have pretty much resolved that we will never see a 100% healthy AEW, even at the top of the card.
Yeah.
Like right now, we've got Adam Cole out, Kenny Omega out, new talent that are sidelined, unfortunately. But their method is their method, and there are definitely things I would do to fine-tune them. But ladies, Moné defeated Hikaru Shida thanks to Camille. Fantastic match. I like Hikaru Shida as the ace of AEW's women's division. Boy, if there is a nickname that fits like a glove, Alex, it is that for Hikaru Shida.
Yeah, no, she's perfect for it. I am interested now more in where her character goes. I believe it's good to call her ace. I believe that is not in any way a misnomer. That is who she is and has been. But they are currently doing 4 amazing feuds for women in AEW. That bull rope match over the weekend, Diana and Thunder Rosa, not for any kind of title, just because they despise one another. That's an amazing feud. Willow and Stat's been great. I keep saying this every week, but it's always true. Mariah, Tony, now we got Mercedes and Britt, and all the 9th woman here is Hikaru Shida, who's a several-time women's champion. And I would love to see when one of those feuds is resolved, let's figure out a way to get Hikaru Shida in something like that lasts for months, that has some animosity to it, or a title attached. I think that she's just been so great for so long. I want to see more of her. I love the little character work she's doing. I want to see that expand.
As do I. We've got 2 LT Cole photo that says, give me Hayter rave at Wembley. It's hard for me to believe that Jamie Hayter won't get involved in some capacity. When I heard a few months ago, they were, and reported on FightfulSelect.com, best $5 in the business, that they were preparing for a return. This is what I always personally circled on the calendar. Wouldn't shock me to get that news that morning of and drop that in the spoilers thread. I'm expecting her there. Yeah, I don't know if there will be any integration with Britt Baker. I feel like that ship has sailed interpersonally for those two.
Okay.
Is best I'll say there. But Britt came back tonight, as Fightful Select reported.
Yep.
Got a good pop from the crowd. There was the bait of the mask or the person in the hood.
Now, this is the thing. Now, that didn't end up being Britt Baker. So Camille pulled ostensibly a fan from the crowd into the ringside area and beat the holy living crap out of him.
It's Kimmy Sokol. The little girl
yes.
that Kimmy Sokol. Yeah,
Yes.
I bet it is who it is.
That is who it was, but they didn't announce that on TV.
Oh
It
no,
just was it was just a fan.
I'll claim that it was. I'm just saying it so people think that Kimmy got beat up because she tried to cheat at Top Golf a couple weeks ago. It wasn't. I don't think it was actually her, but you know what? I'm going to run with it. I'm going to say that it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. I hope that that whoever that fan is okay on their way to a local medical facility.
Tim McFall says Shida's about to go full mob boss and it'll hump. Yeah.
It's going to be great. Yeah.
We've called for that for a while. Meet Norman says, shout out to Vicky L. We're all here for you, pal. I heard from her a little bit earlier as well. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, buddy, Jeff Jarrett's hit all sevens on this part of his career. He has hit the jackpot on this part of his career. But listen, if you're wanting to try your chances and them to be a little bit more in your favor, try our friends at BetOnline AG. You can bet on wrestling. I'm pretty sure pretty soon they're going to have those AEW all-in odds up, as well as Bash of Berlin, all that good stuff. But you can get up to $250 in free bets when you join BetOnline AG. It's trusted for over 25 years, trusted by millions. They got a great VIP rewards program, but they have games. You can bet on all the biggest markets. They have the earliest lines. All of our lines have come from there. They got payouts in minutes, highest credit card acceptance, and a safe and secure environment. You don't have to worry about your data being hacked, anything like that, with these wonderful people at BetOnline AG. Some of the things I sent to recommend to them, I was like, hey, for some prop bets, you guys should throw out some names that might be in the Gauntlet match, because we had reported on Fightful Select that they were looking to load that up. There were a few names that were added to it today. I said, probably put some odds on Ricochet. Probably put some odds on some other surprises. Maybe on who wins it. A lot of question marks there. Also, with the guaranteed title shot element of things, guaranteed win. Guaranteed win. Maybe there'll be some lines at BetOnline AG. We've had 9 underdog lock picks this year that ended up hitting. All 9 of our underdog lock picks did end up hitting, by the way. But I think we've made 15, 16 other underdog picks, or underdog picks in total this year that ended up hitting. So keep your eye on that over at Fightful Select. But BetOnline AG, man, you can even bet on tennis there. Tennis. My God. Hangman Page attacked Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett backstage. This is sincerely like Jeff Jarrett becoming relevant again. He finds a way somehow. Yep. He's been doing it for a long time, since the 80s. He's been doing it. And he still looks great, still doing his job. And then Hangman Page defeated Jay Lethal. But what I loved about him defeating Jay Lethal, I don't know if they're preparing it to become a thing, but he being Hangman, creamed Jay Lethal with a discus clothesline.
Yeah.
That they even said, yeah, he did not even need to do the buckshot lariat. He could have just done the discus lariat and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
I mean, as the man gets older, obviously they'll need to adjust that. But I think that establishing a discus lariat and him knocking the shit out of people works just fine.
Yeah. This is what it needed to be for Hangman. I thought we were going to get the announcement of Tom Campbell's Wet Dream, the Hangman versus Jeff Jarrett match. I thought we would get the ad announcement tonight.
Told it won't happen. Told it's not scheduled for All In.
Wow. It's certainly something they are building to at some point. Otherwise, there's a lot that they are doing for no reason here. But Hangman is doing some amazing work. And here's the thing that I love about this is that Hangman always maintaining his innocence, that he's been the good guy this whole time. He's been the same dude this whole time. All he wants to do is just prove that Swerve is an a-hole. And by the end of the night tonight, maybe it's not so fun to root for Swerve anymore. You know what I mean? Like if Hangman can just not change, not waver, just doing the same thing, and meanwhile Swerve is fluctuating. When they meet up again, will Hangman basically be a guy that we're rooting for by the time he faces Swerve again? There's a lot of really cool stuff they're doing with Hangman.
Yeah, really like it. I, at this point, believe that Hangman... I mean, Wrestle Pierce had reported that Hangman Swerve might be the main event of All Out. I'd heard that as well. And it's so funny because people said, well, that spoils the main event. Does it? Does it spoil the main event of All In? Because I don't think it does whatsoever based on what all would possibly happen.
Right, sure.
But I think that Hangman Page will end up in the Casino Gauntlet unless it's already officially announced. I think that's the direction that heads.
Right.
I think Jeff Jarrett should probably be in it too. Now, granted, we've got at least 3 other names that we know of. I don't remember what the intervals are on that, but it shouldn't be more than 2 or 3 minutes, I think, at this point.
It shouldn't be.
They should definitely decrease the intervals, but I will say this. They have found their match. They have found their signature match.
Yeah.
And it's worked out really, really well. Bush Machine Head is the official song of AEW All In again, because it was last year too, I believe.
Was it? Nice.
I'm pretty sure it was. I saw them live in concert last year. They were very good. I made the mistake of typing Bush All In on Twitter in the search bar.
Don't do that. No.
Yeah, do not do that. Don't do that. It's not a joke. I seriously did it because I was like, hey, did I just hear that right? Well, yeah. But we found out this Bush scenario based on the MJF and Ospreay vignette. But prior to that, we saw a clip from Rev Pro this past week, which had some unusual canned audio added to it. It didn't need that, but Michael Oku and Amira were featured in it and named verbally on the broadcast, which is of particular note, as Corey Brennan reported on FightfulSelect.com, best $5 in the business, this afternoon, that Michael Oku and Amira were being discussed within Rev Pro pretty openly, as they all think that they're headed to AEW.
Right.
Now, this would be a phenomenal signing, or 2 signings for AEW. Michael Oku had one of the best matches you will ever see in your entire life against Will Ospreay. He is a friend of Will Ospreay's, and Amira is phenomenal as well. Really, really great. Just really, really good. How'd you feel about that report and the little clip, which I felt like added an awful lot of credibility to those claims?
Yes. I'm not as familiar with Amira's work, but I watched every second of that Oku versus Ospreay match when I had the opportunity to. It is one of the very best matches that I believe I will ever see. And cheat code versus Ospreay, but man, that dude was doing so much in his own right in that match. I cannot wait to see more and more and more of him. So I'm very excited if he signs with AEW. That'll be a lot of fun to watch. And yeah, I feel like he'll probably get involved. I feel like he's the kind of guy that might wind up in that Gauntlet match. I mean, if available, just to, because England. I mean, if he, why not? If I don't know.
If we would have had Will Ospreay with a live mic tonight, 100%, we would have heard, "Oi, bruv, I'm going to give you a video tribute to American Idiot." That would have happened.
Yeah,
that is the tone and tenor of Will Ospreay promo.
Yes,
which kind of feel like they should do anyway. He should just present it next week in the UK. To that song. Why not? But listen, Will is a little too wholesome with his promos, I think, sometimes now.
Yeah.
And what I would like to see out of this is that All In, obviously he's doing the Tiger Driver.
Yes.
So no more corny shit. No more wholesome.
Yep.
None of it. Cadillac Carson has said, Saraya has been saying she wants a match or something at Wembley. Do you think Hayter comes out to Wembley to challenge her? Yeah, she should.
That'd be really good.
Because I don't think Saraya wins again at Wembley. And yeah.
I mean, that's a really good way of being like, yeah, so Saraya, you know, the hero of heroine of British wrestling. But if he faces Jamie Hayter, also British, then either way, the crowd goes home happy, right? So if we can have Jamie Hayter beat her, it's easy.
Yeah. We've got Jordan saying, joining late, if MJF isn't walked to the ring by Lee Greenwood, missed opportunity. I don't know the reference.
Lee Greenwood, of course, the singer of "Well, I'm Proud to Be an American. Barely I know I'm free."
That'd be kind of cool, honestly. And dude's still alive? Good for him.
He is alive. He's alive.
They should really use that. Like MJF should think he is the conquering baby face. In all this shit. Like, I really think so.
Yep.
A user named Bush Allin sent the following Humper chat. I used to love singing Come Down at karaoke, pretending I sounded like Gavin Rossdale. Some good, some horrifically bad. Every time, though, head first, balls deep, the only way to play. I mean, listen, they were really good when I saw them live last year. Like, and he ran all the way across Rupp Arena.
Wow. Good stuff.
Pac is livid backstage, calls out the winner for All Out. Good stuff. Good stuff.
This was low-key, I think, like my second favorite thing on the entire show.
No, it was Pac, not low-key.
Nicely. Nicely done. I have been it feels like July. Wasn't it July? Back in mid-July, it feels like a month ago that Pac won the number one contendership to the Intercontinental Championship, and since then, all of this other stuff has happened. I love that he's pissed about it, that he's not happy about Will Ospreay. He's also doesn't like this whole MJF. He refuses. He calls it the American Championship once, and then 3 more times after that calls it the International Championship because he was the first one ever. So he's got an attachment to it. I love all of this. And I love that he says, right now, I'm calling my shot. I don't care which one of you guys wins at All In. I'm facing you at All Out. This is some great stuff. It sews up all the holes. It allows the guy to have genuine pissed off emotions about something and motivations. That match, whoever wins at All In, we're assuming it's going to be Ospreay. If it's Ospreay Pac, it's going to be amazing. But if it was MJF Pac, it would also be amazing. Yeah. This is great stuff for everybody.
I mean, that card, hypothetically, Swerve and Hangman, possibly a Bryan Danielson world title match if he wins.
Right.
MJF Daniel Garcia is how it should be.
Right.
But this show is looking like really, really good. Now, I don't think they should ever do it 2 weeks after again. Yeah. Just switch your stuff around. Do a big Grand Slam Dynamite on the month you don't have a pay-per-view.
Yeah, there you go.
Put All Out late September, and you have fixed an awful lot of those ticketing issues, I think. Sure. You don't need 3 of those within a month.
No.
Darby vignette, and then Jack Perry attacks Darby on the stage, and then backstage tries to crush his head with the door, and he says he wants a coffin match.
Right.
Vicky says, hey, SRS, thanks for your work. Cash for Kalex both being here. Mr. Ass looks ridiculous. Yeah, sometimes I forget that his actual wrestling name was Mr. Ass, which sounds like something square out of South Park. Dude's name was Mr. Ass to the point to where his wrestling action figure had Mr. BA on the knee pads.
Yes.
Because they couldn't write Mr. Ass on them.
Nope.
And they couldn't just write nothing, right? Like they couldn't just avoid that.
Nope.
Mr. Ass. Nope. Coffin match is going to rule. Hangman is going to screw Swerve. I think quite possibly. But also, I think if Bryan Danielson wins, I feel like on his own, would be a
Right.
good method. But
Yes, me too.
I am Crush NC says, great matches, good build for All In, tons of fun. Can't wait for the coffin match. Thank you, Fightful. And also watch DPW. Yeah, I think what Deadlock has done is very special, and they've got a wonderful community. Trevor Lee versus Calvin Tankman for the world title, about to cook. That will absolutely be incredible. But coffin match. Is Darby Allin going to be Darby All In, Alex?
I mean, usually he wins all the coffin matches, right? I mean, that's kind of the deal.
I think he wins this too.
I think he wins this too. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go undefeated forever in coffin matches. You know what I mean? I don't think there's going to be a danger really of him losing a coffin match. When he won the one versus Brody King, I was like, well, that's it. You're never losing a coffin match. Jack Perry. So then it calls into question the Jack Perry thing of like, I challenge you to a match that was invented for you in this company, and also you never lost. It was like, okay, good for you, Jack. But I guess one thing that I'm happy about is that if we all kind of think that Darby is pretty much guaranteed to beat Jack Perry, I don't think there's a danger they would put the world title on him like 3 weeks later. So he'll probably lose that Grand Slam match unless they do like a title for title thing. But I don't think they're going to do that either.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by the approach there. But I'll sit around for the ride and see it. I don't need to see a champion versus champion type of thing. And I don't know.
Well, I like this from Jesse Ozog. Glass in the coffin. Like Perry opens the coffin, there's all shattered glass in there, and he tries to put Darby in, but Darby doesn't. And then when Perry goes in, he's gonna have a back full of glass, or maybe a face full if he goes in face.
Wouldn't mind a pane of glass across the top. Sort of covering it. Tom LaValle says my first ever wrestling shirt was Mr. Ass. Whew. We had a film by Mariah May. Great promo here.
Such a good promo.
JP says, had a fire promo. The I get to write your eulogy line was great.
That was good.
She has been like, sometimes you get a draft pick and you just know they're going to hit. Anybody that watched Mariah May before AEW knew she was going to hit.
Yep.
And then AEW got her, as reported by FightfulSelect.com.
Yep.
And they had this vision for her very clearly from day one. This has been an elaborate day one plan to make and then crown Mariah May. And what I loved was she said, it's all about Mariah. It's not about Tony anymore. Obviously, the All About Eve reference there, which so much of this is based on. This was exceptional, Alex.
Yeah, I love your biggest mistake was being alive at the same time as me, because there can be only one at the top. This was excellent, so well done. I'm very happy that it was her own style, because the promos for this made it seem like she was going to do a parody of the Tony Storm films from several months ago. And I'm very happy they did not do that. But all the promos, when they would show a film by Mariah May, it was her dressed up as black and white Tony Storm with the timeless Tony Storm font and everything. So I'm glad they didn't end up doing that. This was phenomenal. They have really done a great job of telling us this is what we're getting, making it immediately into a blood feud between the two of them, and then basically Tony attempting over and over again to attack her, but never quite getting what she wanted, and slow playing this build up until the match happens in 11 days. That is going to be a hell of a match with an amazing story. Even though I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion that Mariah wins, it's going to be an amazing story to actually see it all play out.
It absolutely is, and I love what they did after this. They brought back in Mina Shirakawa, who connected with this audience so well and was an integral part of the Mariah Tony
Right.
sort of build through all this. They had their match at Forbidden Door. We saw them do what they did, but since then, so much has happened. And Mina is like, I love both of them, but she has such
Right.
a history with
Yeah.
Mariah May.
Yes.
And she said she hasn't talked to her since. I love that they brought her in. I thought that was really good.
That's
I don't know
good.
if they got her on Collision, but they should. She should be wrestling on Collision this weekend if she's not.
Yeah, she should be doing something if they're not. Yeah, I don't know, Rampage, Collision, whatever. But like having her here is great, and also what an amazing way to also further cement Mariah May as being the absolute villainess if she decides to take a shot at Mina, her erstwhile best friend and tag partner, who's just trying to play peacemaker between the two. That would be a really, really great thing to help the story as well.
Somebody mentioned she did compete in the ROH tapings last Saturday, so maybe she does show up on Collision. I hope.
Cool.
I hope so, and that makes me happy that she's on the ROH tapings as well. Okada and Claudio are face to face. I like this, but then it got weird. It was a little rushed, I thought. So Okada made fun of Claudio after Claudio gave this very heartfelt promo that I thought was very, very good. I love that element of it. And I even liked Okada's as well. But Okada said, 12 guys competed for this, but I'm the guy that has it. And then after Okada walks off, then Claudio gets fired up and cuts a promo to the camera about wanting the Rainmaker, not this guy, that guy, this guy. He wants the best tournament wrestler ever. And I'm like, well, the guy you're facing is the Continental Champion right now. Like, are we like, was it to imply that he sucks now or something? Because he doesn't. He's
he doesn't
funnier.
He doesn't suck. However, like he's a goofball now. And I don't want the goofball. I want the killer. I want Tokyo Dome Okada, because I'm gonna bring my absolute best. And if it's not Tokyo Dome Okada, then you've got no shot against me. And what is important for Claudio is the very best match possible. He doesn't want to like storm through a guy who doesn't care about everything, who gets pops off of calling people bitches. Like, that's not what Claudio wants. He wants the best match he can possibly have. I think that it might have been more impactful if he had been able to say that to Okada's face while he was still standing there, but whatever. I love the last line. He says, he says, next week in Cardiff, you will have 99. If you have 99 problems, then this bitch is number one.
I love that. That was
good.
Phenomenal.
That was great.
That was really good. We had the Patriarchy interview. Christian says that, he's going to call it right down the middle, or he did call it right down the middle.
Yeah.
And he isn't sure what the hell's going to happen at Allin with the trios title.
Mm-hmm.
So the tag team division is not what it used to be. I would argue the trios division is stronger right now.
Yeah.
But which direction do you think this goes? Because they're very clearly headed towards a triple threat tag team title match. You can't do that with the trios as well.
But they already set up the trios triple threat on Saturday. Then doing a different version of that tonight, and then like that's my biggest problem with this show, this particular episode, is that they did a thing on Saturday that explicitly set up the triple threat for the trios titles, and then did a version of that 3 days later to set up a triple threat for the tag titles. Now, they haven't announced either of them, but we basically think that that's where it's going.
On the surface, and I mean on the surface, just knowing what we know now and assuming what we assume, it reeks of like WrestleMania 20, where they were like, oh, well, we've got 2 sets of tag titles. Let's do 2 4-ways. And it's like, did Rob Conway need to be on the Mania card? Did, all due respect, God rest his soul, Garrison Cade and Mark Jindrak could have been a great team. Did they need to be on the Mania card?
No.
Did the Basham brothers need to be on the Mania card?
No.
No. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Ryan says, "Hey Sean, no, you probably can't answer this. I saw I saw what you said in the Fightful Discord about Saraya and Allin. Is she facing Becky at Allin? I would be shocked, and I mean completely shocked, if Becky Lynch showed up at Allin.
Yeah.
WWE and Becky had both been pretty transparent in the interactions that I had. That, yeah, they're probably going to work together again in the future. They'll come to a deal eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know that AEW has even reached out.
Yeah.
I have asked. I was not given an answer. I don't know if it was just I don't want to talk about wrestling right now, or just not going to answer that type of thing. But
sure.
Yeah. Orange Cassidy defeated Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. The winner becomes the number 1 entrant in the Casino Gauntlet. So this is a unique scenario where being the earliest entrant is actually a benefit. But I mean, also, is there also going to be a match to determine who the number 2 entrant is?
Well, that's my thing. I think that now that we know who Orange Cassidy is, the number 1, right?
Yes.
Orange Cassidy gets his big entrance, his number 1. I think almost certainly number 2 is one of the surprises. Like, for example, if Orange Cassidy comes out, he's there, and we don't know who number 2 is, but Ricochet comes out. So we get to start the match with an Orange Cassidy versus Ricochet 3 minutes. That would be a thing. And then to me, number 1 is better than being the last guy, because the last guy might not get into the match, i.e. Roderick Strong, that one Casino Gauntlet they had a while ago. But I feel like number 4 is better than being number 1. Like, number 6 is better than being number 4. Like, because they're not no one's pinning in the first 2 minutes. No one's pinning in the first 5 or the first 10. So you got to figure out, like, I understand in kayfabe, being the first guy is good, but also you're going to have to work from the very beginning all the way to the end to try and get the pinfall. It is an interesting way of looking at it when you're incapable of dismissing actual real world logic from wrestling logic, as I am. I have a problem with my brain, and I can't turn those things off, unfortunately.
I want you to watch the movie Trap, the new one with Josh Hartnett. Like, listen, man, right. I am such a geek for, like, horror thriller movies that I don't like ghost, goblins, occult, supernatural, any of that stuff. I don't like that. I just want a realistic premise. I want to believe this horrible thing could happen to me, right? To the point to where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have to write one if I'm gonna see a good one.
Yeah,
Alex, the premise is really great.
Yeah,
serial killer trapped in a concert, all that stuff.
Yeah,
you will pull your. You don't have hair. You will grow hair. You will grow hair just to pull it out. Over how frustrating it is. Oh my gosh. Well, Maddie Nice says, shout out to Fightful and Nord for the $20 pay-per-view. I need OC to win the Gauntlet and be world champ. Also, AEW should make a Lucha Championship belt. I don't think they should make a new belt at all, but I do think they should get the Lucha Underground library and the Era Lucha library, of which I have tried to buy, and they didn't reply to me. But yes, indeed. Shout out to NordVPN.com/Fightful. Get a mega discount plus 4 extra months when you go to NordVPN.com/Fightful. They have that 30-day money-back guarantee as well. Listen, there has been, this big breach online that people are talking about on the World Wide Webs. Shield your data from snoops and criminals as best you can. Protect yourself on public Wi-Fi. I got to do that because I'm always going to airports, hotels, events. I'm on the jungle Wi-Fi at Paycor Stadium for the Bengals games, but I got to make sure I've got NordVPN on there. Fortunately for me, it works on all devices, all operating systems. If you need a password manager, they got you covered. File encryption tool, they got you covered. Now, if you also say, I'm not sure I would know how to use all that, they got 24/7 support. They're there to help you all the time. Threat Protection Pro, fastest VPN on the planet, reliable encryption, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Right now, they got an exclusive deal, get a big discount and 4 free months. The big selling point for me, if you buy pay-per-views, this subscription will pay for itself. Probably your first purchase of a pay-per-view, because you can change your virtual location and then get those pay-per-view prices that they're paying overseas. So well worth it, especially if you're in the States or Canada. Hook interview.
Take it you weren't impressed by the Hook interview?
I was impressed by Brian Keith.
Oh, yes.
As he shouted, "Yeah, up your ass!" That was great. The crowd wants to like Hook a lot. I'll say that. The promo wasn't for me. He's like, "Look at my eye! Look what you did to it!" Now, the funny thing is, I say this every time Hook talks. I don't know why I don't assume he is going to have the thickest New York accent of all time.
Right.
But he does, and I love it. Because, of course, his dad does. I don't know if there's anything that he could have said here that I would have liked, and that's not his fault.
No,
that is not Hook's fault. I just want to make that clear. This story has been going on since February.
Yes.
I am at the point after a bunch of really good Braun Breaker versus Ilya and Sammy matches that I'm like, all right, time to move on. It's been a couple months.
Yeah.
This has been going on since February when Jericho had a match and was like, "Oh, wow, you're impressive, kid. Let me take you under my wing." The Jericho Vortex has become a very real thing.
It has.
And I think there is a lot of good that Chris Jericho can do in AEW. I think that being in a tag team or a trios could be very, very beneficial for somebody or somebodies. This is not beneficial, I don't think. I just want Hook to win this and us to move on.
Well, that's the problem, Sean, because you'll notice that we challenged Jericho to a match tonight. Jericho did the obligatory, "You want a match tonight? How about tonight? You want to fight me right now in Norfolk tonight?" And then, no, you're not going to get it. Like, it was like a minute and a half. It felt like 90 seconds of him threatening to actually have the match, knowing he was never going to agree to the match tonight. But he did say, "I'll fight you at All In, and if you lose, you can never have another title shot while I have the belt. You are banished from the Jericho Vortex." He didn't say that would happen if he lost to Hook, though. So if Hook wins, do we get another 2 months of this? But if Hook loses, then he and Joe and Shibata can go on and win the trios titles. Like, I don't want Hook to lose to Jericho either, but if that is what it takes to get Hook and Joe and Shibata far, far, far away from Chris Jericho, then maybe it's worth it.
You know what I want to see? Well, Chi-Town Spurs says you can't do a joke gimmick making fun of yourself if you're still doing the thing that everyone hates. He's right. He's right.
It's true.
And Mike Montiel says, "Hey, Fightful family, I'm now officially with Alex. Why out of all the AEW originals from the men's division does Chris Jericho get the most TV time? I'm a known Hangman Mark. Give me more cowboy shit, darn it." Like, unless he finds something revolutionary that reinvigorates interest, I'm like, do a tag team. The division really needs some established stars in it.
Sure.
Really. So do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Help elevate that tag division.
Here, man.
What I want to see is Hook defending the FTW title against like Masato Tanaka on Collision. Or like, Chavo or somebody like that. I want to see Rhino show up and face him on Collision and for the FTW title. That's what I want to see.
I mean, the irony of what you're saying about Jericho finding a tag partner in the tag division is if Kenny Omega doesn't get diverticulitis, they might still be the champions.
Oh, God, no.
They might still be the champions if Kenny Omega doesn't get sick. He and Jericho might be the champions right now?
Well, we had the Young Bucks defeat the Acclaimed via DQ. The crowd got into this. Now, I often wonder how the Acclaimed will be received in Wembley. Probably pretty positively. They're over with live crowds.
Yeah.
It's just the booking and the promos haven't done them favors for my personal taste.
Right.
But when you get live at the venue, it's like when Baron Corbin was getting booed a few years ago when nobody really cared, but people would still boo live, and you could see why the people in charge were like, "Man, listen to that heat." Yeah. Right? Like if you're Tony on the other side of Gorilla, you're like, "Wow, listen to these reactions for the Acclaim. This is great."
Yeah.
Well, not so much, but they did get "This is awesome" chance. There was some really good action here until FTR came in to try to help the Acclaimed, but didn't end up working out that way, Alex.
Nope, it didn't. Yeah, this was kind of disappointing. I figured that the Young Bucks would like intentionally take a count out or something so they wouldn't lose, and like Christopher Daniels would come out and say, "We're not gonna do it like that," or something, so we could extend this. Like the Acclaim's interactions with FTR, I'm not saying they don't have a point about being overlooked or whatever, or being belittled by other tag teams. Fine. But they have come off as giant a-holes when they've been interacting with FTR. So my hope is that at the end of whatever happens at All In, they end up fully turning heel after a loss in that whole thing. But FTR coming out to ironically try and save Max Caster ends up Dax getting spit in the face, deliberately baited by Matthew, and then attacking him. Ref's got no choice but to call it. And we're going to get the Acclaimed versus FTR on Collision on Saturday. And I feel like somehow the Young Bucks screw that up in some way that makes there be not a real winner in that. And we're going to get the triple threat tag match at All In. But then my question is, what are we doing with the trios titles? Because if it's also, let's just throw them all together in another triple threat, it just feels like it's kind of, you're running the same playbook with two different things, you know?
Yeah. This is the match that I think does need the triple threat element, because regardless of what I think of the Acclaim, they are over live. I do think the Young Bucks should have defended their titles way more times than they have. I don't like that. I don't like it as a story prop or whatever bullshit excuse people give for it. I don't like that. And as great as FTR and the Young Bucks are together, I don't need to see that again now.
No.
So I would like, I like the idea that they're kind of putting forth there.
Sure.
Flame Inc. says, why is TK looking for a stadium? They have Everbank Stadium right there. Tony basically owns the Jags and they have a stadium. Why look for one? Well, it depends on what kind of deal you can work out. I don't know if Dallas will be willing to pay Tony. Right. But like what? Listen, after what Jacksonville and the Jags have been through, the city isn't going to say, yeah, let's pay you money to bring your wrestling show here to the stadium you already own. I'm sure one day they will do that stadium. I'm sure they will. It's a major city. It's a great city as well. Like, I really enjoyed going there. But you can't just do everything in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. Thomas Sandberg said, solution to the three-way match problem for the tag and trios titles. Do Stadium Stampede for the trios titles. I like that idea an awful lot.
I like that a lot. That's a really good idea.
That is a brilliant idea.
Do Stadium Stampede for the trios titles, and that way Jay White can show up in the middle of it, even though he's not part of it. But guess what? You know what? You can't kick him out because it's Stadium Stampede rules. So that would be a lot of fun.
I really love that idea. Really love that. Reminder, guys, we have an interview with Steve Macklin of TNA going up on Thursday that Joel Pearl did. Make sure you guys check that out. I've got some really good first-time interviews that are coming up over the next couple weeks. Bryan Danielson career retrospective. James Zimmerman says Green Day almost had me in tears. JP says TK licensed some music, eh? Mid-Take says that video package was way better than My Way and Monster. Love Hangman, but he's got to take a back seat here. Danielson is absolutely move. I don't know what was supposed to be added to that, but better than My Way. Listen,
I mean, that's tough.
It was a good one. It was a great one.
It would have been if they could have gotten 2 or 3 seconds of WWE footage in there. That is like a huge part of his career that was just absent from it. However, man, if you're watching that and you're of a certain age, and with that song brings back certain memories because it was played all over the place at graduations and all kinds of things.
Oh yeah.
And you're watching that and you're seeing that thing, you have any kind of attachment to Danielson in his early career, and now, like, if you're not welling up, you don't have a heart, man. Because this thing was beautifully done, impeccably edited. All the footage of him being embraced backstage by all of his friends, like footage of him backstage at ROH with Colt Cabana cracking wise, like it's just such a wonderfully well done thing. And also, he better not lose that match. He better not lose that match at all, because I need to see him on a part-time basis for the next, I don't know, 10 or 15 years.
And I mean, for the kids who don't know, I mean, like Green Day, when they like kind of burst on the scene in '94, they were really like pretty successful, almost like very quickly, but their music was nothing resembling that. And they broke through and had some pop hits, even though they were a punk band. Yeah. And then they dropped that, and that became like such a monster hit that it really opened them up to a new fan base, and it became a major song. Do you think we hear Final Countdown at Allin? Because to me, that's almost a guarantee.
It's his final countdown. You know what I mean? Like it's his final countdown. It's absolutely got to do it.
Parker Hines says these video packages were on point tonight. Green Day got me emotional. Was good. Well, Danielson was in the front row watching Swerve Strickland defeat Wheeler Yuta. Strickland wins by doing Danielson's stomps.
Well, after he did 3 house call kicks. Like the first one was enough. The second one was overkill. The third one was egregious. And then he was like, I'm going to stomp this kid's face in with your move. Like Swerve it's been fun to root for him. This guy at his core wants you to hate him. Like this is what's going to be great about this match, I think, with him and Bryan. He is going to do everything he can during that match to make us despise him.
And this is what I love. This is at the core what I have loved about AEW for so long, is that based on one behavioral thing, okay, you're cheering for this guy this month, you're booing him this month. I'm not cheering for Swerve against Bryan Danielson, all due respect to Swerve. I want Bryan Danielson to win because I want more Bryan Danielson. I don't want him to never wrestle again.
That's true.
And now we have, the house call, the Swerve stomp, all these moves. And now we have him using Danielson's own things. And then he didn't stop attacking after that. Danielson gets involved. Swerve walks away and he says, you know what? Your family's going to be ringside, right? I'll let them witness you keeping your promise to them when I beat you and cripple you.
Yeah.
And listen, that'd be a pretty easy promise for Swerve to keep. It doesn't seem like it would take a lot these days. Bryan Danielson is legit beat to shit, as reported by FightfulSelect.com.
Yeah.
But Swerve comes back in, hits a house call. Really good. This was phenomenal, I thought. This was really great.
Here's what I need. I need Birdie to throw in the towel. That's what it gotta be. Because she just wants her dad at home. And she can't bear to see him in such pain.
Damn, man. So Corey says, guys, I've worked myself into a shoot. Don't know why, but I have a feeling Hangman gets involved and screws Swerve out of the title. Just a gut feeling. part of me is like, yeah, that makes an awful lot of sense. But also part of me wants to see something clean.
Yes.
Which direction do you think they're going?
I mean, if Hangman's in the building, like his character would absolutely try to cost Swerve.
Yeah.
So you'd have to do something where he's banned from ringside, like put him in a jail cell, something. And maybe the person who stops him from doing it is Jarrett. You know what I mean? And that's how we get that match later or whatever. But if indeed we're going directly from All In, 2 weeks later, we're getting All Out, and the match is, if it ends up being Swerve versus Hangman in like a lights out match or whatever as the main event, then having Hangman explicitly cost Swerve is the reason why that match has to happen as soon as possible. Like, that kind of makes sense to me in that way. But I agree with you. If Danielson's winning that title, I want him to do it as legit as could possibly be.
Chi-Town Spurs says, does anyone sell Psychotic better than Swerve Strickland? Dear God, this man is on a run of a lifetime. I remembered the post that somebody had on Twitter where they're like, Will Ospreay, I don't know if I can do the Tiger Driver. And then it's like Swerve, and somebody looks at the title, and he bashes them in the back of the head with a ball bat.
Yes. Yep.
So Luis, our great moderator, wraps up and says, you mentioned Masato Tanaka just announced his visa for now through June 2025, says that he wants to work in the USA as frequently as his schedule allows him. Masato Tanaka should absolutely challenge for the FTW title on AEW TV this year. I think they should really lean into that. So, some hardcore legends, so to speak, in that regard. And Meat Normus wraps us up and says, Meat Mayhem was trademarked, so I may ask, where's the beef? That said, solid Dynamite. Matches and promos were solid, but add some sirloin, please. Wardlow, MIA, Hobbs, injured. Miro, injured. Lee, sidelined. I mean, they need some meat. Hager hit the bricks. They got rid of him. Mm-hmm. They need some meat. Damn it.
Meat. Yeah.
And James Zimmerman says, what if Nigel McGuinness attacks Bryan Danielson to even the score in the match? Listen, I do think they should have a match, but I don't know if doing that, it's the UK, so maybe. I've got conflicted feelings. I do think Nigel McGuinness should get involved in some capacity. I would love it if he was in the Casino Gauntlet match, honestly.
That would be lovely.
I think that'd be great.
Lovely. True. Yeah.
Alex, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me over on Fightful Select reviewing Rampage, watching Rampage while reviewing SmackDown. That's a little tightrope act we do every Friday. Also Mondays on Fightful Select reviewing Raw. Tuesdays on this year's channel reviewing NXT with the wonderful Miss Kate Fabe, who's
Happy
just celebrated
3-year anniversary.
3-year anniversary at Fightful.
3 years in our wonderful cult, as some say.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely us that's in the cult, not the people that have, dozens of accounts suspended on Twitter and all that. Leave a thumbs up on this video. Share your comments below. Please help us spread the word about Fightful. Of course, we have a wonderful community. We want it to grow. So share it on Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. And of course, subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. I cannot begin to tell you how important it is to support original work and original creators, because that's where so much of this emanates from. But thank you all so much. We really appreciate you guys. Until next time, we're out.